Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, we start the review with this day Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story: federal government replies El-Rufai, says Buhari focused on delivering free, fair polls, declares no villa staff working for or against any of the presidential candidates. Kaduna governor alleges some elements in villa sabotaging Tinubu. APC gets Aisha Buhari's backing. El-Rufai exonerates Emefiele from Naira redesign blame. PCC says Buhari most important person in presidency. Yes, what has been talk on the sidelines has now been brought to national prominence, the forefront of political discourse, by no less a person than Nasir El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State. Of course, his statement is that interview he granted, that there are elements within the villa, the presidency, that are working against the ruling party and its presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, the defense put by the Minister of Information yesterday, I don't know whether that is sufficient to doubt anything, but Aisha Buhari, well, is Tommy Petrel in her own right, wade into this matter when she posted El-Rufai's interview on her Instagram page, tacitly, implicitly endorsing the statement as it were. Now, the problem of the APC coming to the fore, division cracks, some will say, but from immediately after the party's convention, where Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged as the candidate of the party, it's like the fellows that came together, I don't want to add strange there, seem to be looking in different direction. Where is Rotimi Amici, who came second? You say it was the leader of the new PDP that joined to form the APC at the onset. Where is Rochas Okorocha, who moved the faction of Abga into the APC party? And you ask, where are the APP bigwigs, like Ogbonnayonu, who lost gallantly at that APC convention to pick the presidential candidate? So apparently, what seemed to be playing out is that the cracks seem to be now wide open for all to see, because you hardly see any of these guys on the campaign trail of the presidential candidate of the APC. But now the attack on the president by the APC presidential candidate added another dimension. Many have said the president has been tepid in his support of the party's candidate. Well, not even when he reeled off a list of venues where he will be campaigning for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has even doused that situation. And of course, it's like the gloves are off and punches being pulled from here and there. But we'll see how these will work out for the APC. I know if some other persons will be singing a familiar song somewhere as it sweet them, as it sweet us, and they will complete the rest. Now, of course, other newspapers are reporting this story. The Guardian newspaper, Buhari for free poll, not against any candidate, federal government replies El-Rufai. And of course, the New Telegraph also has that story. Presidency, El-Rufai alleges Aso Rock elements working against Tinubu. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper presidency, APC reacts as El-Rufai accuses some people inside Villa of working against Tinubu. Now, the Nation newspaper also have that story. El-Rufai, elements in government working against Tinubu. Yes, the Naira redesign and fuel scarcity are the handiwork of fifth columnists who want to bring the country down. Quoting El-Rufai there. Now, the Punch newspaper looking at the situation about the new Naira scarcity. Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, border residents trade in CFA. Customers without new Naira notes must pay CFA. Traders insist. Banking halls empty. LCCI says Naira swap poor, affecting businesses. ICPC arrests currency hawker. Angry youth protest in Ekiti, Delta State. And of course, the Daily Trust also reporting on the new Naira redesign. Naira scarcity, hardship lingers as businesses, travels suffer, online transaction fail, chaos at banks, customers fight. Then the Leadership newspaper, Naira swap. Bank chiefs challenge CBN on quantity of new notes. As Nigerians lament cash crunch, NLC blames corruption, systemic failure for scarcity, review measures to ease hardship, Atiku tells Emefiele. Now, the situation has not improved in the banks. I was surprised yesterday when a full-blown lady I know very well was almost crying. She said she went into one of the banks and could only be given 1,000 naira.
Full-blown lady and a woman with full-blown. Mind your language.
Okay, well, okay, I'll take that back. Your interpretation of my is quite different from what I had in mind, but I know where you're going. Now, but the story is this. 1,000 naira was all she could get. 1,000 naira, that is in the 100 naira bills and 50 naira bills. She was almost crying. I had to pull out my purse and do charity again. And for once, 2,000 naira look like big money, Ruben. This is a good time to do charity because you won't spend too much and you will be praised. But it's serious that we still have this situation. Apparently, you ask, why did the CBN not begin this currency swap they are doing at the local level from the onset? Because many in the rural areas are having problem exchanging their old currency. And you see what the Punch is reporting, what is happening in the border towns in Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and other states that border Niger Republic. Customers without new Naira notes must pay CFA. And of course, they're now using the currency used by the Francophone countries for transaction in Nigeria because of this currency redesign that we can say has not been implemented with excellence. In fact, excellence is even a foul word to use. There is problem, who to blame? Banks are saying that the CBN has not given them enough of this currency. And the CBN governor is saying banks are the problem because they are hoarding or giving this currency to big names who come and take this to go and spray at parties, and unscrupulous bank officials selling this currency to people who go and sell at parties, Owambe parties, where people buy to spray. Now, if we just look at the Business Day newspaper, blame is new petrol as NNPC oil marketers overwhelmed. Now we've had meetings. The president set up a committee chaired by himself, and the NNPC has been meeting with stakeholders, but we still have long queues, empty fuel stations, empty pumps, not dispensing anything, and the chaos and the suffering continues at petrol station. And of course, commuters are also paying the price, paying high transport fare with monies that's looking for through tears. Now, the Guardian newspaper of UK, foreign newspapers, quickly, Watchdog looks into £220,000 bill payment, Partygate legal advice. The Guardian of UK. Now, critics ask if cost to taxpayer is right use of public money. Yes, the Partygate of Boris Johnson. Yes, in defending himself, he spent £220,000 of taxpayers in defense in the inquiry into that Partygate. Now, the National Audit Office is looking into the matter. The Watchdog is looking into the matter. And Johnson is putting further statement to say, well, I thought what we did was within the rules. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
Shameless Boris Johnson, very shameless man. You did something very wrong in the first place. You were called out, and you took taxpayers' money to defend yourself. You see, I think the problem with the UK is a failure of leadership. The Tory party have been bastions of bad leadership, right from the time of Boris Johnson to Liz Truss, that took a decision that was counterproductive. And even Rishi Sunak, that we thought intellectual egghead, he's now showing that signs of leadership failure. Two cases. Number one, Nadeem Zahawi's case. Number two, Dominic Raab's case. There are allegations for bullying now. And it was said that they told Rishi Sunak about him prior to this time. Before his appointment.
As Deputy Prime Minister.
Please, I think the UK people are even tired. I'm sure the UK people, if you can interview, they will say auto get for the Tory party.
You know what Rod Stewart, the musician, said recently? He said, out with
out,
Tory.
auto get the Tory
Labour
party.
should take over.
Labour should take over. Because this is bad leadership, and it also feeds into us here. It is the same bad leadership that is feeding off on petroleum scarcity. See, there are empirical proof to show that in the last 1 year, Nigerians have faced petroleum scarcity for over 8 months of the year. 8 months in the last 1 year. From 2022, we had bad fuel in February. Parts of Abuja were inundated with fuel scarcity because of the flood. That took another 1 month. This from October to this time is another. So 8 months of bad leadership. Now the NNPC are putting blames across to each other. I think this is sad. And when we keep saying people have failed, yes, Dr. But he said we should be sectorial, it's economic failure, and all of that. Other parts, they are great spots. Yes, we know they are great spots. But the truth is, this is a reflection of failure. When somebody fails, nobody has any qualms. You know, nobody has hard feelings. I wish President Buhari well. But we must also have the courage to say he has failed in so many aspects. And these failures are affecting us. Should we clap for him because of this hardship?
Okay, let me start with the UK.
Yeah.
The more urgent thing is the fear of a likely Tory civil war. Now that Liz Truss is going back to Westminster, coming back from the burial that she gave herself, and she's going to go there, it's suspected, to push for growth. Now, Boris Johnson is back there, also criticizing Rishi Sunak, saying that he's not being courageous enough on the issue of Ukraine. And then, of course, this point about the money that was taken from the official purse for the legal advice over the Partygate, it has not been, the outcome has not been put on the table yet. It's a spending watchdog that says they are examining. So he has not yet been crucified in that regard. So I don't think it's fair to just crucify him before the reports come out. However, with regard to the party chairman, yes, he had to go. Rishi Sunak had to sacrifice him. Yeah. With regard to Dominic Raab, Justice Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister, okay, he's saying, look, he's innocent, but what will happen to him? But the critical difference is that we have seen in the United Kingdom a country that has a code of conduct for public officials and that insists on that code of conduct, because Parliament will ask questions, the people will ask questions, and there is a certain standard below which we are not allowed to go. The other day I was asking the question that Zahawi has been sacrificed because of a breach of the ministerial code. Do we have any ministerial code in Nigeria? Second thing, about SEFA. that you say is being spent in some border communities, bordering Niger, Zamfara states, communities bordering Niger. No, I think for the umpteenth time, we ought to remind people that, look, spending foreign currency as legal tender in Nigeria for transactions is an offense. Then nobody enforces it. Now, here, there are even government departments that transact a business in dollar.
In dollar, yes.
There are landlords that collect rent in dollar.
In dollars,
there are businesses that you can't buy things from except you bring dollar. Now, to that one, they've added CFA to it. CFA is spent in eight countries, that are part of the Economic and Monetary Union in West Africa, and these are francophone countries. So now people have abandoned the naira. They are now asking for CFA in some parts of Nigeria.
But in this case, they were pushed to it. They don't have new naira.
No, even
nobody wants to collect their old naira.
No,
they have to carry out transactions. I'm not justifying it, but they've been pushed to it.
No, but you don't know when it started. Yes. They may have been spending CFA in parts of Nigeria long before now. The legal tender of Nigeria, the national currency, is the naira.
Yes.
Whatever the situation, you can't try it in Ghana, where the law is enforced.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Emmanuel El-Rufai.